Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering one of the animated hits movie streaming on Disney Plus, Luca.
Yes, and in this summer film, it's still summer, Luca
Right?
is a sea monster who's curious about the surface world and discovers he looks human once he's on dry land. Now, together with Alberto, another sea monster who lives on land, they have big dreams to win the local Portoroso race and win the prize moped. Yes, it's wholesome.
Yes. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification for updates on future podcasts and all the pause videos.
Yes, and we were excited about seeing this movie because of the beautiful animation. More than anything, when we saw the commercials, that's what stood out, how beautifully it was animated. And the second thing was, hey, on land they're human, but in the water they're fish. Hey, we haven't seen that before.
Right, something different. And I remember seeing a lot of people say it was sort of like a Studio Ghibli movie. Now I think in that sense they mean of it just being a story and it was relaxing and fun. You had a little bit of drama, but this was unlike a lot of things he's been putting out recently, because you know something has a grand adventure, a big bad villain, superpowers, magic and stuff. None of that was in here. The most you had was them looking monster in the sea and human on land, and that's about as far as the fantasy went. It was very based in reality aside from that. Very slice of life, very calm, still had a lot of fun. It was a simple plot. You just want to win a moped.
Yes.
And that was something different for Disney. It's something they haven't done in a very long time. They haven't had a big theatrical movie that's just been so simple in a heck of a long time.
I think, personally, a mistake was made on putting it on Disney Plus. I think this would have done much better in the theaters.
Yeah.
This movie was absolutely adorable. And I really liked it. And Luca was such a likable character from the beginning.
Right.
Even when he decided to start disobeying his parents, don't do that.
Right.
He still liked his character because he had this desire to learn. And he wanted to know more than just his environment and his surroundings. And then he meets Alberto. And you don't know his true backstory till later. But he meets a friend.
Right.
And he becomes really obsessed with just knowing more and more and more about the surface. And then, as you mentioned, then it becomes about being the moped, focus on the moped so they can travel.
Yeah, they want to see all the human world.
Right. So that was also something different than we've seen in movies, and it's to kids.
Right.
Not adults,
not
teens. Exactly.
Right, not teens or adults. They were actual kids being kids. And there were kids doing the voices, which we haven't seen in so long.
Yes.
And Alberto, I said while we were watching the movie, he kind of reminds you of like a kiddie version of Sokka.
Yes.
He has that same vibe, like he thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't. And Luca has the Aang vibes, where he's curious about everything because he doesn't know about the world yet. And it's fun. It gives you those sort of vibes, and they're those feel-good movies.
Now, once Luca disappears from underwater, his parents, who always stay away from the surface, they go looking for the little boy, which was very sweet. They turn the humans on land. They try to stop from getting wet and encountering
water. You gotta mention that.
But they went all around everywhere looking for Luca. And they kept having these moments, of course, like on Scooby-Doo, where they were passing each other but didn't know they were passing each other. But I thought it was really sweet that they would go on land and risk being found out and everything because they were worried about their son and wanted to get him back.
Right. And another thing they did not do was taking out the parents. They didn't have Luca by himself or anything. Both parents were around.
Now, Alberto was, so they kind of had both.
Yeah.
He had both parents, and Alberto had no family and no parents.
Right. And you don't really find out how or why that happens, so people kind of got theories on that. But yeah, you do find that out eventually.
And then later in the movie, they meet a girl.
Yeah. What was her name? Alyssa? I hope so. If not, feel free to correct us in the comments. Yeah, because it's like, wait a minute, who are you? And she was a very fun character, and a lot different from a lot of the other Disney films. And they had this, of course, the little Three Amigos type trio with them. And eventually, a lot of point in the movie, Alberto was getting a bit jealous because Luca started wanting to spend more time with her
because he was expanding his
knowledge. And he was the first friend he made. So he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
And she had books.
Yes, books. Like, oh my God, I haven't seen anybody that excited about books since Twilight Sparkle.
Right.
You're like, books, buddies. What's this? What's that? I'm like, oh gosh.
So when they were trying to get the moped, still, even after meeting once they had this race, things just began to fall apart.
Yes.
Because everything just started happening.
Right. And like I said, it did sort of start feeling like a Studio Ghibli movie at that point because, you know, despite it being a simple plot, you still had a conflict, and this was the conflict. Like, he thought he was going to lose his friend, that he was going to run off with her, he thought he wasn't going to have fun with him anymore, and then things started to change, and then also keeping the secret from them knowing that they were sea monsters, because Mama had actually mentioned, if they get wet, any part of the body gets wet by the littlest bit of water, drinking water, rain, splashed on, whatever, they'll turn back into sea monsters temporarily.
And one thing we need to mention, like all Disney movies, there is a hunter. There is a hunter hunting the sea monster.
Of course.
That wants to kill them.
Of course.
And he dredges up all this type of fear.
Of course.
And this environment of people being in panic and so forth. It's
Yeah.
always in every Disney movie. Well, it's in this one too.
Right. If it's not an animal hunter, it's a monster hunter, or a dog catcher, there's always some type of... Yeah, what the heck, Disney? Come on, you don't have to have that every movie with animals or monsters or fairies or whatever. You don't have to have somebody trying to hunt them.
I think the message would have been clear enough without that character.
Yeah.
And seeing everything else, the hunter wasn't needed. At the end of the movie, he played a part, which we won't spoil it for you. But I think that message could have been gotten across without that character.
Right. And then you also meet, like, with the few humans you meet, like I said, we met the girl, we met her father, and the cat that looks like the dad, which is hilarious.
Yes.
And you also meet the sort of kind of antagonist who's more just of a bully or know-it-all and stuff. It's Gabriel, who's just like really just up there, nose up in the air, just really full of himself. And like the whole movie, he has no chill. He has no off switch. He's just always, he's like a Disney Monoma. He just doesn't, he has no off switch. He's like, will you shut up for 5 minutes?
But this movie was wonderful. And again, I think it would have done better at the theaters. And it should have been there. It's not one of the movies they recently had where you're like, this should have never been in the theater. It should be on Disney Plus. I think it was the opposite. This would have done fantastic in the theaters, especially with the summer vibe and all the sun and the slice of life.
Yeah.
And everything that happened, it's like one of those summer movies you want to go see in the theater and sit and chill and just enjoy. And you don't get that watching it on Disney Plus.
Right. Especially if it stops on you.
Right. But it's not that type of feeling.
Right.
So if you've seen Luca, let us know what you think in the comments below. You have a favorite character? Do you love it? Do you wish it were a sequel? Do you think it would have done better in the theaters? Let us know what you think. If you haven't seen it, it's still available on Disney Plus. No extra payment required. And we promise you, you really will enjoy this movie. It's just sweet. It's just slice of life. It's fun. It's bright. It's full of joy. Even in the moments where you have the antagonist and you have the moments of, I don't want to say, moments of conflict. Thank you. There's still joy watching this entire movie.
Yes, and that's something you don't see a lot from Disney now because a lot of things are either remakes or adaptations that flop. But with this, it just was something fun, and I think, you know, in that aspect, they're kind of right. It is similar to watching a Studio Ghibli movie like I used to make, where it'd be simple stories, nothing huge and extravagant. It was just one little simple story for a set amount of time. And you're just having fun watching. You want to see a fun summer story.
And again, the animation is spectacular, even down to the hairs on their heads.
Right.
Absolutely beautiful. A joy to look at, a joy to watch, a joy to experience. So give it a watch and let us know what you think in the comments below.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification when they updates on future podcasts and multiple pause videos.
Absolutely.
For our possum family.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mascot Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.